Tiffany here. I am an inner transformation specialist and I help you to get to know who you are in some really fun, magical and insightful ways. So today I just wanted to do a really quick little video for you on the 4 stages of creation. Now, if you're a creative person, you'll probably know what I'm talking about. What do I mean by if you're a creative person? How do you know if you're a creative person? You're alive. Yes, we're all creating. I'm creating now. I'm creating this video. I'm creating this speech. I'm creating this mini lesson. We're all creating in so many ways all of the time. So I want to help you get to grips with the process of creation so that you understand it more and you judge yourself less. What way do we judge? Sorry, I don't know what that word was. I created something, but I don't know what it was. In what ways do we judge our creation? Well, it's not good enough. I procrastinate. Perfectionism, procrastination, and people pleasing. Those are the 3 big problems with creation. So let's have a look at these 4 stages and where they belong and what we can do to work it through. But remember, everything happens in its own divine timing. You may well have had an idea years and years ago, and actually it went away. And you might be there thinking, I've let this idea down, and actually, you haven't. It just isn't the right time yet, or it hasn't come back around yet. Or there are those other instances where you didn't act on it and somebody else did. But this creation was never your creation in the first place. It came from somewhere else. And so to actually help demonstrate this today, I'm going to talk to you about the magician. Now, the magician is a channel. He channels above through him and makes it happen below. And he has 4 implements on his altar here. He has the sword here. Sword is thought, and thought is the closest element there is to spirit. So that comes first. He has the thought. The magician is Mercury. It's all about communication and thought, the speed of thought. Eureka! We have that breakthrough moment. Aha! We have the idea and it's amazing. We have the answer. It's incredible. We've been woken up at the stupid o'clock in the morning and we can't go back to sleep until we've written this idea down, because the pen is mightier than the sword and we feel high. It may even be, I would describe it, the closest feeling to God when we're so full of that inspiration. But like the swords in the tarot, what happens is that over time, those thoughts multiply. We second out in the 2 of swords. Then we start to beat ourselves up in the 3 of swords, how we're not good enough. We reflect on the 4 of swords. In the 5 of swords, we pull it apart. On the 6 of swords, we kind of start trying to make some progress, but on the 7 of swords we've just messed it up too much. We've lost the divine essence. In the 8 of swords we feel like that's it now, we've completely ruined it. And in the 9 of swords we're in that total despair. And then in the 10 of swords we finally get past our ego and we've gone through into the cups. Here, the Ace of Cups. Oh my gosh, this feels amazing. If only I could get this out there into the world. Maybe we tell somebody else and they go, yeah, I really like this idea. And then in the so that's the 2, and in the 3, somebody else comes on board with the idea as we're sharing it with people, but it's not actually in creation yet. And then in the 4, we're starting to feel like it's just not good enough again. And in the 5, no, something's not happening the way we thought it would. And then we go back over things in the 6. And in the 7, we get really confused. And in the 8, we're like, still not good enough. And I don't know what it is that I'm looking for. And then in the 9, we're like, yeah, this might actually be okay as it is, And in the 10, it's like, okay, I'm ready. I'm ready to go and put it out there in the world. I'm ready to create it in the wand. And the Ace of Wands, it's similar to the Ace of Swords. We have that spark, that inspiration, that divine. It's an amazing moment. In the Two of Wands, we get other people on board to create it. On the Three of Wands, we can see it growing in the most amazing ways. In the Four of Wands, we have our first level of creation pinned down. In the Five of Wands, everything gets messy, chaotic, and out of control. In the Six of Wands, other people get on and start backing us. In the Seven of Wands, we really have to fight to push it through. In the Eight of Wands, everybody is there, going forward. Yeah. It's like, woo, we're on it. The Nine of Wands, it's like those final pushes of creation, of birth. And in the 10 of Wands, it's like, oh, bloody hell, we're here, but my God, don't I know it. And then we have the Ace of Pentacles. It's there in your hands. It's been created. It's amazing. And now you get that exchange. You know, somebody gives you money for your creation, and then maybe you get an investor as well that wants to back it. So that's the 2 and the 3. And then the 4, you finally broken even. And then the 5, sometimes things just grow too quickly and then we make a big loss. Some companies go bust at that moment. But then we can get some other people on board, someone that we find like really wants to help us in the 6. And in the 7, we go a bit slower. We remember everything we've learned and we just build it slow but surely but steady. And in the 8, we keep refining and refining from all of the lessons that we've learned. And in the 9, it starts to serve. Hello, Mystic. It starts to serve us. It starts to work for us. And in the 10, it can make a whole difference to the world. Those are your stages of creation. So you have procrastination, people pleasing, and perfectionism really in the cups. Yeah, swords and cups, and well, all of them, they all have those layers. Let me speak to you a little bit about, just quickly, because I really have to go, but I really do have to go. I have to go and see my stepdaughter do some poetry. So I'll just stop waffling and tell you that in 2016, I went to a Temazcal, which is a Mexican sweat lodge, and the shaman, he was there with his feather and his smudge stick, and he did something to me. And then he pushed me all fours into this igloo type place, and there was 4 layers of meditation, 15 minutes with hot stones and like chanting and really powerful earth shaking stuff. Yes, not like that, but yeah, it was definitely something to remember in this Mexican jungle in the middle of nowhere. And every 15 minutes, the door would open, we'd get some water, and then more hot stones would come in, and we would go deeper and deeper. I don't remember those 4 stages. He asked a question every single time, and there's only one question I remember, which was, what are you doing here? 2 nights later, the magician woke me up, and it whispered to me, my creation, the transformational truth of tarot, game changer. It's here. It's ready for pre-order now. And what is it? Well, my book, The Transformational Truth of Tarot, is the only tarot book I know that doesn't have meanings in it, but talks about tarot in terms of it being a mirror for getting to know thyself. I was really amazed at that creation because within a couple of months, it had won Best Spiritual Book of 2012. It had only been out a couple of months. And that was incredible. I was like, oh my God, it's so amazing when you actually do a creation and put it out there in the world, what can actually happen. Then I created the course, the Transformational Truth of Tarot version of a live course where I take people through the journey for 5 months. And oh my God, when I first launched that, we were all there, the people on it, myself like this, like in complete amazement of like how it was just more than a tarot course. It is about transforming who you are. It is about using the tarot as a mirror to get to know who you are. But it's been blooming hard to market because most people see the tarot as something to actually look at to understand what's going on outside rather than inside of yourself. And so people haven't really understood what it is that I do. Now, the transformational truth of tarot is a game changer. What it does is it gets you offline because it's a board game, and it gets you playing with your friends and your family. When I say playing, it gets you connecting with your friends and your family and yourself. So that's where it's at, guys. It's at the wand creation now, but it's taken me 2 years to get through here, to get through the P's, to get through the swords, to get to the cups, to get to the wands. And the link is below if you want to know more about what this can do, and also if you'd like to get your pre-order in for the transformational truth of tarot. I'm going to go now, and so it's bye from me, a mystic, for tonight. And remember to honour your 4 stages of creation. And I look forward to sending you the transformational truth of tarot game changer, which it really is, you know, a complete game changer very soon. Bye for now.